Welcome back. My name is Rashad. This is my testimony documentary series, episode 12. Let me give you a brief recap of the last video. Um, my ex-wife puts me out, aborts, kids, and I'm homeless. I'm sleeping in my car. I end up sleeping at a friend's house for a couple days. One of my other friends come by, gives me some money. Um, God was working through her to give me the money because with that money, just a couple days before, I answered an ad on Craigslist to rent out a room from a senior white woman that was probably over the age of 50, and her ad was only for other women that was over the age of 50. At the time, I was 38 years old. Um, the money that my friend gave me was enough money to move in. Um, so from that moment, living in a trailer home in a small room, I didn't have nothing but a cell phone. She didn't have cell phone service. The cell phone service was not. You could not use your cell phone in that area. Um, you. She didn't have internet. She didn't have Wi-Fi. She had like a 32-inch TV in the living room, which she was mainly in most of the time. Two dogs, and it was better than I didn't have nowhere else to go. So I accepted living there because it was either live there or live in my car, and I didn't want to live in my car, and go to work. I wanted to be able to stretch out, rest, take a shower, because, I just, at that time, my mind was racing everywhere. I didn't know what took place, what just happened, why did this happen? Um, Married to a woman that I did love and was following God's plan. And from that moment, I didn't have nobody else to turn to. I couldn't turn to my mom. I couldn't turn to my sisters. My sisters wasn't in my life like that. I couldn't turn to my dad. I didn't, I'll call my best friend, you know, but I didn't really put a lot of burden on him, you know. Um, I didn't have nobody to talk to. So the only person that I was able to talk to was God because I'm following what God wanted me to do, and I didn't understand why at the moment, why am I going through all this drama, and why am I homeless now? And I went from having my own apartment to renting out a room less than a year. And I just didn't understand what was going on at the time. So all I did, since she didn't have no Wi-Fi, I opened up my Bible. I opened up the Bible app. You don't need Wi-Fi to open up the Bible app. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to read. I couldn't really read the Bible at the time. I tried to read it and I couldn't understand it. And so what I started doing, I started listening to it because it gives you an option to listen to the Bible. And I started listening to it. And the spirit, God would tell me to start from Genesis, and then from Genesis move to Job. And I don't know, now when I look back, I can relate with a lot of stuff that happened in Genesis during my life, and I can also relate with a lot of stuff in the book of Job. So, like I said, I started listening to the Bible. I created a playlist of gospel music. And, I would go to work, and then I would just listen and play the Bible in my earphones and zone out. Everything was about God. Everything was about God at that time. I would go to work singing gospel, listening to Tamara Man Change Me. I would play that song 15 times in a row, no lie. I would ask God to change me. I would pray to God to give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. I would read about spiritual warfare, you know. But so I would go to work listening to the Bible. When I got off, I listened to gospel. I was pretty much in the wilderness. It was God 24/7. Um, I would get off. I would go to Starbucks, watch a program, a TV program on the Wi-Fi. At the time, I think I was watching Breaking Bad or um, Better Call Saul or Walking Dead, um, Lost. I would just watch certain TV shows, right? But while I'm there, I'm downloading John K. Jenkins videos of his sermons. And I would download like 15 videos because I couldn't sit at Starbucks all day. So I would download about 10 to 15 videos and have them already in my phone. So when I went back to my room, I would play the sermons. I would lay on the bed and, have my phone balanced that is leaning on the wall, and I would just listen to his sermons until I went to sleep. Make me something to eat, take a shower, get ready for the next day. And I would listen to these sermons all night, all day, all night. So if I got off at 3, I'm at Starbucks for at least an hour and a half. By the time I got home, it would be close to 5. Take my shower, make me something to eat. By that time, it's, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And from 6 to like 10, I'm listening to sermons. I'll get up, I'll go to sleep, I'll wake up because I had to be at work at 5 o'clock, I believe. And yeah, because we were getting off at 2. So yeah, I'll get up at 5, get ready. On my drive, change me, Tamara Man. All 15 times in a row. I get to work listening to the same song. Change me, change me. I'll go to work crying, driving because I wanted God to change me. I kept praying, change me, make me into the man that you want me to be. That's all I kept praying. That's all I kept asking God to do. Change me. But at that moment, I did not understand what it meant for God to change you. See, you might ask God for something and he's going to give it to you. And you got to be ready, because God had to mold me. He had to mold me. He had to strip everything, all my sinful ways from me, and mold me. When he looked at me, he had to see an image of himself. But this is what I wanted. I wanted God to change me, because I didn't understand why I'm going through everything I'm going through. And I felt like I wasn't a bad person. But God had to strip all my sinful nature out of me. And he had to show me who I was. And then I had to grow to not like that person that I was. And the reason why God does that, because it makes it easier for him to change you. Once you see who you really are, once you see all your evil ways, all your nastiness, he shows you who you are. And the thing about it, he still loves you. He still loves who you are. He still forgives you for everything you done did. He never turns his back on you. I literally had people turn their back on me. People, my family, friends, like, I didn't have nothing. I'm living in this room. He made a way for me to get this place. And the thing is, my faith is growing, right? Because God got to build your faith up. And so what was everything that he did to build my faith up? He made me a career employee at the post office. When I thought I was going to lose my job, he told me, don't worry about it. I got this. He built my faith up. My friend comes, I get put out. I don't have no money to live nowhere. My friend comes, she gives me $300. I didn't ask for it. She didn't know if I had money or not. She just gave me $300. With that $300, I'm able to get the woman that I called for the room calls me and tells me to come check it out. And the rent is only $325. I don't have $325 because I put the 25 to go be selfish and live and go see a woman that really did not want to be with me, but it was all a game for the enemy. But the woman still let me stay there that night. And I gave her the three because I knew I was getting paid in a couple days, and I told her I'd be able to give her the rest. And she said, okay. He had to mold me. He had to see a reflection of himself when he looked at me. I'm there for the first week, and it's the same routine. Listen to sermons, listen to my gospel, listen to the word of God, Starbucks, download more videos, go home, shower, eat, watch these videos. I'm learning a whole lot about God that I didn't even know, a whole lot about the Bible that I didn't even know. You know, I'm listening to John K. Jenkins videos. He's talking about spiritual warfare. It's a 4-part series. I watched that series about 3 times in a row because I knew what I was going through was spiritual warfare. I never heard of spiritual warfare at any church I went to. Now, was I going on an everyday basis? No. But even when I did, when I lived in Inglewood and I went for a whole year, I don't think they ever talked about spiritual warfare. I knew my situation with my wife. It was a lot of things that I had to question Like, this don't make sense. Why are we arguing about this? Why are we arguing about this? Why am I being accused of things that I did not do to this woman? Even when I present the truth did not matter. And it made me think, the enemy, he don't live in truth. You could present the truth to them and it's like it's invisible. They don't see it. I'm living where I'm at. Haven't heard from my ex-wife. Haven't went over to her house. I've been there for a whole week. Nothing but God. I would literally walk down, at my machine at the post office, and I will be singing gospel songs. I'm learning gospel songs. I'm singing them. Started listening to Mary Mary. I'm singing their songs. I'm listening to Marvin Sapp, and I'm singing his songs. And I'm listening to the Bible. In the Bible, I'm listening and I'm, going through Genesis. And I'm going through Genesis like through the way I was doing it. I would do New Living Translation because I was new, so I couldn't really understand it. I do New Living Translation. Then I do NIV. Then I do King James. And I'm listening to all this back to back stories. And it's getting to the point when I'm listening, I could visualize what's going on. It was like a movie that was being played in my head. Every story of Genesis, Job. I'm listening because that's what I was just listening to for like weeks. For like the first week, it take me about 3 days to listen to Genesis. Like I said, I was listening New Living Translation. Once I got done listening through the whole book of Genesis in New Living Translation, now I'm going to the NIV and I'm listening through International Version. Then I'm listening through it through the King James Version. Then I go to Job, and Job is long, and I'm listening New Living Translation, NIV, King James Version. And this is what I did for that first week. By the time I got to the second week, on top of watching all these videos, spiritual warfare, forgiveness videos, faith videos, trusting God, how to be what a godly man, what's a godly woman. All these videos that John Kane Jenkins had, I done listened to probably about 50 of them in that first week. Because even when I was at work, if I got tired of listening to the Bible, I would put on one of his sermons, and I would just continue to what's next. I was literally in the wilderness listening to. It was nothing but God, 24/7, 7 days a week. I'm praying to God. I'm asking God, why is all this happening? I'm praying for my wife, the woman that put me out, the woman that had abortions. I'm praying for my wife and her kids because she done caused them to be cursed. Because that's what the Bible says. She done caused her own kids to be cursed. It's curses in the Bible. If God speaks about it, then trust me, it is curses. I'm praying for her. I'm praying for all my enemies. I'm praying for my children's moms that never loved me, never liked me, doing me wrong, keeping me away from my kids. I'm praying for them. I'm praying for my sisters. I'm praying for my mom, my dad, the same people that I said I wish they was dead. I'm starting to pray for them. I'm praying for my friends, family members, Everybody I could think of, I was praying for them on my way to work. So now I was a man that couldn't pray longer than 30 seconds. Now I'm praying for about 10 minutes. I'm praying for 10 minutes. Week number 2 come, same routine. I had a routine and I stuck with it, and I'm just learning the word. I'm learning God, but now I incorporate the beat. Alan Parr's videos, because his videos was a little bit different from John K. Jenkins. He answered a lot of questions that you may thought or never thought about. You know, he'll have videos like, is it okay to smoke weed and be a Christian? Is it okay, you know, to be on social media? Um, is God a man or a woman? Like, these is basic questions that a lot of people don't know. You know, how to love your wife, how to love your children. And it was 5-minute videos. They was 5, 10 minutes. Some was 5, some was 10 minute. And he used sound doctrine to back up everything that he was saying. So I'm starting to know what truth is. I'm starting to follow truth. If it don't match with the Bible, then it wasn't truth. At this time, God is telling me you need to find you a home church. You need to start going to church, Rashad. So I'm going to different churches. I'm going to my ex-girlfriend's church. I'm going to different churches and just sitting in there, you know, on a Sunday, seeing if it works for me. Sometimes I could come in and I feel the energy and I'll be like, nah, this ain't working. I'll listen to the sermons preach and he's not preaching from the Bible. Like, if it ain't coming from the Bible, if I can't read along with you, then I can't trust that type of pastor. Um, so that's what I would do on the Sundays. I would go to different churches in the area of San Bernardino, Rialto, and I would just look for churches. I'll go on, you know, on Facebook and I'll type, name me some churches out here in the IE. And some would have me go all the way out to Fontana. And, you know, big churches, small churches. And it was nothing sticking. But I've been living in this room for about 2 weeks now. I'm starting to change. I haven't heard from my ex-wife. I don't hear from my ex-wife until I'm in week 3, right? Right before school started in when did school start? Beginning of September. Is it September? I'm trying to think, what month am I in? I think I'm in. So when school start? Is it September? Yeah, I think school starts September and or August. No, September. I believe it started in September. I could be wrong. And so now we're at the end of September, right? And going into October. And like I said, he's building my faith. And now check this story out. My son, at the time, I believe he was 8, right? So Halloween is still big. He's 8. He's 8 or 9. He's around there. And he's having problems at home. My youngest son, he's having problems at home. His mom, now he was supposed to live with me, right? And he was supposed to go to start middle school with me, if he still lived with me and my wife, my ex-wife. He was with us. He was with us. He was with me. And then I got Then and he went to his mom's house that weekend when I was put out, right? So he was supposed to live with me. So now he's back at his mom's house. And he would come visit, right, on the weekend. Now, I didn't pick up my kids for about 3 weeks because I was mentally, I wasn't ready. And then on top of that, I'm renting out this room. He can't sleep in this room with me because it's very small, right? But the woman know I got kids. She tells me, you know your kids could come over. And I'm like, are you sure? She was like, yeah, they could come over. And if they need to stay the night, they could stay the night. And I said, oh, okay. So I pick up my son. Now the oldest two lived in LA. Um, I didn't have them come over yet. So I done missed a couple visits with them, right? And it's traumatizing for them because they knew that I was supposed to be with this woman, and my children and her children enjoy being around one another. So I didn't pick up my oldest two. But my youngest, since he stayed close by, um, the next city over in San Bernardino, if you know about the IE, everything's close. And I would pick him up and he'll come over and he'll stay the night. He'll stay for the weekend. He'll sleep in the living room. I slept in the bedroom. He'll sleep on the couch. I just had to make sure I had him some cereal to eat in the morning, and probably got a $5 pizza from Little Caesars, and that was dinner, for 2 days, and it got to the point. I remember asking him. I said, "Why do you want?" You know, because I felt like I couldn't do nothing with him when he came. Like I would take him to the park, but I didn't have no ball. I didn't have nothing. Um, most of the time the park I went to didn't have kids like that. I felt like I couldn't do nothing with him. I didn't have no money. It was not comfortable being in that place. I didn't want to take this woman's living room up it that was already small. Um, and I remember asking my son. I just said, "Why you want to come visit?" And he said, "I just want to see my dad." And that made me melt, man. It made me melt because it made me realize everything I've been through with my children's mom and constantly picking them up, and I never abandoned them. It just felt good, man. Eventually, um, I'm at this place, and I'm going to the end of the third week, and I finally get a text. Was it a text or a phone call? I can't remember. It probably was a text. And she said, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, what do you mean how I'm doing? Like, why are you worried? You know, I'm not in your life. Like, this is what I'm saying to myself. Like, why are you worried? I'm not in your life no more. Why are you worried about me? You know, she's asking me questions like, are you eating? Uh, you know, are you in a safe place? Like, she's asking questions like she cares. And that at that moment, it made me think more about spiritual warfare because I'm like, this ain't the same person that put me out. This is a whole different. The person that put me out was vindictive, nasty, yelling, loud, making a scene. And this person is the person that I met when I first met her and we was loving each other. But she's, you know, it's like, and then I got to reading about an unstable mind and double-mindedness by what the Bible tells us. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm thinking back on these videos that I'm watching. And, you know, the Bible telling us you're not fighting against flesh and blood. You're fighting against the principalities that's controlling them. So I'm starting to put two and two together, right? I'm starting to put two and two together because, you know, it was just two different people. The way she was speaking to me, the way she was acting like she was caring and like she still loved me and everything. But this is the same person that had got an abortion. This is the same person that put me out. This is the same person. I'm gonna go ahead. We at that 30-minute mark again. I'm gonna continue this. This is gonna be a long series. It's almost over. For anybody that been watching every part, I hope you enjoy it. I thank you for watching. This is just my testimony, people. My testimony. So y'all can have a better understanding of who I am, where I came from, and what God had to do to get me where I'm at now. You know, this is this is May 10th, 2023. What I'm speaking about happened in 2017. You see what I'm saying? Um, Next video, I will be telling you how my faith was growing even more. But I still was living in the world, okay? And what was going on with me and my ex-wife at the time? Well, we were still married, but I say ex-wife because I'm married now, and she's my ex-wife. So I will continue that. Until then, I'm out.